May of 2008, I found a bump in my chest. And I went and I saw my doctor. My doctor said, don't worry about it, it's a fatty deposit. He said, but I'm going to send you off to this other doctor just to take a look at it. So I go to a surgeon, and the doctor says the same thing. Don't worry about it, it's a fatty deposit, because I can remove it, but check with your insurance company first, because if I remove fat from your body, they may have looked at it as plastic surgery. And I said, well, if you remove fat from my body, we're going a couple other places first. But before I walked out of the office on the second day, he said, you know what, I'm going to make you come back. We're going to do a biopsy on that thing. He goes, I just thought about it last night while I was sleeping, and he said, I want to check that out. So I had a biopsy on it on Thursday. Went up to the fishing opener with some buddies all weekend. Never thought once about it. Matter of fact, forgot about it. On Monday, I didn't get a call, and that was the day I was supposed to get a call back from the doctor. Then I started thinking, that's not right. Got the call on Tuesday, and the doctor said, you have lymphoma. And he said, it's not going to kill you, if we're lucky. But he said, we need to get on it right away. And I went down to Mayo with my wife the next day, and they told me, he said, you're looking at 2.5 years of chemotherapy. You're looking at, the bad chemotherapy where we're going to knock you in your butt, you can lose your hair, you're going to get sick, you're going to have to wear a face mask. It's going to change your life forever. Well, I made a decision at that time. The doctor told me, he said, the cancer is slow moving, I can treat you now. If you can live mentally with cancer, why don't we wait 3 months? And I said, I can live mentally with cancer. So I spent those 3 months, I did some research, and I figured out the best way to handle cancer, the best way to handle chemotherapy was I had to beat it mentally and physically. So I hired a trainer. I went and I worked out harder than I ever had because I was going to beat chemo now. I went from being able to do 17 push-ups to being able to do 60 push-ups. The guys are not with the knees either, the real deal. I worked really hard to get myself in the best shape because in 3 months when I went back to the doctor for chemotherapy, I was going to kick chemo's ass. And I went back and did all the scans, did all the tests over, and I went back with Laura, and we sat in the doctor's office, and he goes, I don't know how to tell you this, but your cancer is subsided. He goes, it's not moving at all. As a matter of fact, it's subsided. You do not need chemo. And at that point, I learned something that is so strong about the human mind. For 1 minute, I was disappointed. I was mad. I was so ready for chemo that I couldn't handle it for a minute. Now, by the time I left that office, I was doing cartwheels down the hallway. But I learned something very, very powerful. And that's the power of the human mind, the power of preparation, and what you can learn from it. I went back in May of 2010, and the doctor said things had started to move. He goes, we got to get at it. So I started a regimen of chemotherapy. 2 days every 28 days, I went down to Mayo. 8 hours of chemo one day, 5 hours of chemo the next day. Once again, I learned something about the power of positivity and the power of the mind. As I was sitting there one day next to a woman in the chemo ward, she goes, here comes my poison. And I was thinking to myself, boy, then you got it all wrong. When my chemo came, I said, all right, bring me the good stuff. Bring me the good stuff. Because I said, this is the stuff that's getting rid of the bad stuff. That's not poison. This is the magical stuff. It's getting rid of the bad stuff that's in me. And I went through my chemotherapy. Did not miss one day of work other than my chemo. I was very, very fortunate that in the 2 years that I waited to have chemo, they had come up with a different kind of combination that was less toxic. I didn't lose any hair. I didn't throw up. It wasn't exactly an easy ride, but it wasn't a bad ride. And I just lived my life as if I was a normal human being with nothing wrong, and it seemed to work. 2 weeks ago, I was back down at Mayo, and I got a new favorite word in the dictionary: remission. So I'm good. When Paul asked me to talk, he said, try to leave people with a question or some thoughts. And there's no question, every single one of us gets hit with adversity. I mean, I don't even have to ask to raise hands how many people in here have been touched by cancer alone. But we do get hit with things in life that we have no idea are coming at us. We have no idea how to handle them when they come. But my question to you is, what kind of adversity have you faced in your life? How did you handle it? And at the end of it, did you gain positive momentum because of it? Because I have. I'm a better person, I think, today than I was going through all this stuff.